evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again today to the official topic talk. Please like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell so you'll receive a notification every time that I go live, and I'll get a view. I thought I'd come back on and do a reaction video about the interview that AC Coming Back to Life Alex done with Dot, who is a survivor full of evidence of abuse at the hands of HEGGIE. So I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Alex, for doing this interview with Dot and helping Dot get her voice heard and out there for everybody to hear what she had to endure at the hands of HEGGIE. I remember when Alex done the interview, and I was very, very proud of Dot for finding huge courage to speak up and speak out of what she went through at the hands of HEGGIE. So Dot, much love, respect to yourself for finding the courage deep down within yourself to talk to everybody about what you went through. And also I've got massive love and respect for Alex AC Coming Back to Life. I'll leave his channel link in the description once this live has finished. I want you all to go over and give AC Coming Back to Life a subscribe, because he's an amazing gentleman, and he's got some amazing videos on his channel, which I think everybody could take and adjust and put into their life. So massive thank you, Alex, for doing the interview with Dot. True gentleman. I'm gonna play the video now, guys. I'm not sure if any of you viewed it.
What are you saying, Donna?
I just wondered if you wanted me to sit backstage whilst you do that, and then just as long as Dot knows that I'm here, we had a brief chat.
No,
so, yeah.
Sit in.
You sure?
Yep.
Are you happy with that, Dot?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, lovely.
You good to go, Dot?
Yeah, you're alive when you go, guys.
Thanks, John.
Okay, guys, I believe we're live. So tonight we have Dot on the chat, who is here to tell her story in regards to her relationship with Derek Gordon HEGGIE. Now, before we go into that, I'll just give you a quick insight into why I'm here and what it means to me personally. So, in my own life, HEGGIE contacted me in order to go on his podcast. And I was pretty clear from the off that I was aware of some trolling stuff online, of which I was absolutely assured was all fraudulent and stuff. Hindsight's a great thing. We're not all blessed with it. And in retrospect, having done my homework on him and had the podcast removed, I am here because he lied to my face and had the most disgusting, devious behaviours, and thought that he could continue to dupe guys like myself and build a podcast and try and compete with other podcasters and build a legitimate reputation and a name for himself as a decent guy. But he's not a decent guy, he's an absolute scumbag. And everything that you're going to hear tonight is 100% verified. It's backed up with numerous police reports. All the dates have been checked out. Everything I say is the truth. Everything you're going to hear is the truth. And I will stake everything I have.
If anybody fancies jumping on, the links in the chat description.
Is 100% accurate information directly from a survivor of this guy. So I'm going to bring Dot into the chat. I'm going to introduce Dot to you. Hope everyone is in support. And we're going to get right into it. And it's not going to be easy for her. And what she's doing here is a massively brave thing. And John and Donna are hosting it because they've been in this from the beginning and they will be here till the end. So, Dot, I want to talk to you now, and I just want to start by saying thank you for doing this. This will...
Yes, also I want to thank Dot, such a brave survivor. And I'm glad that she's found the courage, you know, to speak up and to speak out and, you know, let everybody know exactly what, you know, she endured at the hands of HEGGIE. But I think this is maybe only 10% what you're about to hear from Dot. You know, I think there's plenty more that she's gone through and she's endured, and you know, massive respect and love to Alex. You know, I can't say if I could be able to sit in the chair he sat in to hold the interview, and I think he done brilliantly to helping Dot get her message out there. So will
be a massive strength to other women out there who have unfortunately became entangled with this guy.
Yeah,
So,
I just want to say thanks to everyone and the support, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all right, Dot. We're here for you. All of us are here for you, nobody else. So, Dot, we're going to start from the very beginning. We're going to go back to 2012. And I just want you to tell us just a little bit about your life at that point and the initial meeting with this guy. You've told me before, I know the story, but just let's hear it from you, Dot, how you came across him.
Yeah, I was an outgoing girl, loved my horse riding, confident in every way, held a brilliant job, never been unemployed, apart from at this time in 2012 where I was made redundant after 11 years. So I had a friend, a very close friend, and we went out into town in Carlisle, had a drink. One drink, we'd been to the pictures and I was driving back home. Bumped into this person. Numbers was exchanged. As I headed off, he went the opposite direction. Later on into that night, I got halfway home with my friend in the car. My phone had rang. My friend answered it, and it was him. Wanted to know if I would turn back and take him back home. He'd missed the taxi, couldn't get a taxi. I'm very reluctant. Friend reassured us. Biggest mistake. So I turned around, picked him up. Didn't want to go back to his own home. He wanted to come back to it, and that's how it all started.
Yep. As it does. Simple as that. So, Doc, you started to see this. You started to see Heggie, and I'm going to keep naming him, and that might seem uncomfortable, but there's a very good reason for it. I don't want anybody to forget his three-barreled name, Derek Gordon Heggie. That's who we're speaking tonight about, guys. We're speaking about a monster who's duping the public every single day of his life, telling us he's a decent guy, when he's got a 55-page legitimate acro detailing his entire criminal history, which is 90% abusive towards females, amongst other horrible things: deception, theft, arson, racism. He's just a piece of shit. But tonight we're only interested in his history with females, his violent history with females. So, when you started to see him, Doc,
Yeah.
how long before he got his feet under the table with you, and how long did it take before alarm bells started to ring?
It didn't take him long at all, Alex. He was back and forth to his own home in Carlisle, then coming back to mine, staying the night. And then eventually, 2 or 3 months down the line, he was actually living with me at that point. It didn't take long at all.
Now, Doc, when we spoke initially,
Yeah.
when you reached out, we discussed this, and you told me you had a long-term relationship, and that had kind of came to an end and stuff, as they do many times.
Yeah.
And you had felt, in a way, you know, you'd kind of like maybe initially just been flattered that this guy had just kind of stopped you out the blue and kind of like asked you out and stuff. And I completely get that.
Yeah.
And you just felt that, you know, what harm could be done here by, you know, going out for a few dates with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So you were just unsuspecting and just looking forward to having a few dates, really. And you were never to know what you were letting yourself in for, and people don't, nobody does. So we're 3 months down the line.
Mm-hmm.
When did it become physical, Doc? I know there was mental stuff. I know he was having certain behaviours repeatedly, kind of coercive stuff, and just kind of, you know, trying to dictate the narrative to you, and maybe he was kind of putting you under pressure, I believe. But when did it first become physical?
I'll just hold that there. I mean, this is how it all starts with the guy. You know, he kind of you know, draws them all in at an opportunity they get, and the manipulation starts, you know, right from the off. And it's shocking what you're about to hear, guys. I mean, you know, I had to take 2 days away once I'd listened to this before, and it's shocking. I'm just going to continue.
Bear in mind, we're only 3 months in here.
Yeah, there was an awful lot it went on. I find it very difficult, Alex. It's been locked away for such a long time, and I had moved on. I was 90% of the way into my healing after 2012, going back as far as that. It was just the nudges, the little pushes.
Yeah.
The pushes became into larger pushes. The kicks, the spitting directly into your face. And at this point, I just became pretty much weak right away. Very intimidated.
Asserting his dominance on you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Make no mistake. Absolutely. And bear in mind, I was an outgoing, confident lady.
Yeah. So, for the record, guys, I'm in no way qualified to host this. I'm a man. I'm 45. I've got a failed relationship, but we're in good terms. I've never been violent to a woman in my life. And I've had 3 girlfriends, and any of them would say the same thing. I despise it. I absolutely despise it. I despise violence against women. It's the lowest form of man that will clench his fists and be violent to a woman. It fucking, excuse my language, but it disgusts me. And what goes on behind closed doors with arguments and stuff, it's of no concern to anybody. But when it gets violent and when it gets vicious, then it's everybody's business. And as men, if we say nothing and look the other way and we know what's happening, then we're part of the problem. So I'm making a stand against it. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for Dot. I'm here to bring this guy to an end once and for all. So we know it's getting physical, Dot. We know about his behaviours because there are other women out there that you don't know about that are coming forward. And they're all saying the same thing about him. That's his modus operandi, his MO. It's his behaviour. It's how he views women. He views women as commodities, servitude to service him. That's it. There's nothing else in it. I'm learning all the time, guys. I'm reading about this and I'm educating myself on who and what he is. And I'll be honest with you, it's terrifying that he's never done a very long prison sentence.
Yeah.
It really, really puts our justice system in a bad light that this guy can have a 55-page criminal history and he's walking the streets. So we already know who he is, Doc. You already knew who he was 3 months into the relationship. There's concerns. However, because we've spoke before, I know that you were immediately under that spell.
Oh, absolutely, Alex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did not ever think I could be as weak as I was and made to feel nothing.
Fear creates weakness. And I've been in his company, and although I didn't find him intimidating, that's because I'm a man and I've been around violence all my life. But for any woman looking at that guy, the size of him, the build of him, he is a very intimidating prospect for any woman. That goes without saying. You would be a fool not to be intimidated by a guy who is on the other side of 18 stone, who's full of cocaine, full of steroids, full of anything else he can get his hands on, with no respect for you. That's a scary proposition. So he's becoming everything that you thought he was not.
Yeah. Very fast too.
It happened really quick. You've told me this. There was an incident, Dot, involving a witness, his brother.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the incident.
Yeah. That person decided to meet up with a few of his friends in Carlisle. He asked me if I could pick him up at midnight. It was like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. What do I do? He's not rang me. Should I just stay at home? If I stay at home, will he be annoyed? Will I cop it? So midnight came, still no reply, no answer to his phone. And all I could think of, if I don't turn up, what will happen? So I got myself in the car and I drove, and I just guessed the place. And yeah, he was walking up the road, got in the car, and he asked me if I wanted to stay at his for the night. And bear in mind, I'd never met his parents by then. He'd spoke to them about me. So I stayed over the night, felt very uncomfortable, didn't sleep. He was part drunk, part whatever else. So I stayed awake most of the night. And because of the abuse, what has happened back at my home, I was very wary of even getting out of the bed and going over to the bathroom, because it would be a question of what you're doing, where you're going. So I held on and held on. He went over to the bathroom. So I'd gone downstairs. As I went downstairs, I went into the kitchen. The fridge door opened, the fridge door closed, and a fist right across my face. Put me.
Wow. That was. Sorry, guys. I just had to pause it there because, you know, that says it all. And the thing that really bothered me the most is the fact that his brother, you know, was stood watching and, you know, just let it happen.
Through to the other side of the kitchen. Sorry.
All right, take your time.
And I thought, wow, his face was just completely blank.
Just out the blue.
Out of the blue, and within 2 or 3 seconds, his brother stood there, and I said, he's just hit me. His brother seen the blood coming from my mouth. I couldn't move my jaw, couldn't open my jaw.
Now I know that to this day, Dot, you've got problems with your jaw.
Big problems, yes.
And I know that you're wearing an alignment gum shield, and I know that your dentist knows that it was caused by a blunt trauma to your face.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. I didn't see anybody too frightened to go to the GPs or anything. The repercussions of where have you been, all that starts over again. Yes, I eventually went to my dentist, had both teeth, bottom teeth removed. I've been under the orthodontics in the city, the oral surgeon. Quite developed osteoporosis in the left side of my face, with like a hairline fracture under my cheekbone. Whether that was due to the blow. It's not fixable, but it's very painful still.
Yep.
I don't know what to say, people, but, you know, this is only 10% of what Dot has had to endure. I'd hate to think what more there is than, you know, what she's found the courage to, you know, come out and explain to the world for awareness of what this guy is and what this guy's capable of and what this guy does. All I can say is all you people that still sub to this guy ought to be ashamed of yourselves, you know, because this is what you're supporting. A dangerous man to women,
I've been under the orthodontics in the city, the oral surgeon, quite developed osteoporosis in the left side of my face with like a hairline fracture under my cheekbone. Whether that was due to the blow. It's not fixable, but it's very painful still.
Yep.
Very painful. Still have a lot of problems.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a plate fitted in the bottom, and I wear a gum shield through the night because of me grinding in my teeth because of the pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And Dot, what was his brother's reaction to that? Because I know his brother's fearful of him.
Quite shocking.
Yep.
Yes. What did you do that for? That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
So these types of things were commonplace.
Yeah.
I know about his behaviours, Dot, and I know that if I get too deep, I know that you'll stop me.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is open old wounds. However, we get one opportunity to let the public know who this guy is. And every single thing you've told me, I've done my damnedest to have it verified and checked out and all the rest of it. And the incidents that you told me about, those dates, were on the ACRO before the ACRO was released. So I know you're the very person that's on that paperwork.
So now, guys, this is what I best like about Alex. He takes the time to check facts, and then bring it to the table. You know, this is what I like about this guy. Everything he says is true. You know, he's fact checked it from head to toe. You know,
Yeah.
So for anybody out there that is doubtful about the ACRO,
I think that's the video recording. I think it'll clear up in a moment, guys.
this to be true.
And out of all the calls I get, where people are out in the public domain, and my joining neighbours either side who made all those phone calls.
Yeah, I know about one of your neighbours here appears on the ACRO for one of the racial things.
Yeah.
Verified again. And I also have some friends in the communities down around where you live, Dot.
Yeah.
Some guys I've known for many years. And you're very well liked in your community, Dot, and you're very well respected in your community.
Yeah.
And Derek Gordon Heggie's despised. He's despised from the east coast to the west coast, along that whole line of communities and towns, and right into the border city, Carlisle. He's despised across the board. I wonder why that is. I wonder how we can all be wrong about this guy, and he's the only person that's right about him. That's a great conundrum, how every single person can be wrong about him. And I'm talking about men that own gyms in their mid-60s that have known him for over 20 years, when he was a young steroid-using doorman, and he was useless at that, where he picked up his first sex offence for abusing his position of trust. And from there on, it just spiralled into a lifetime's one big episode, you know, one thing after another. It's astonishing that he's never been done a long prison sentence. It's absolutely astonishing. I cannot understand why he's not in jail, because that acro is 100% legitimate, and it reads like a horror comic. So
the acro is 100% legit, and you know, it highlights everything that this guy's been up to in his life, and you know, I hope have a word with Alex. I'm sure he won't mind. I'm sure the video's either on his channel or on Humble's channel. I'm not sure. But have a word with Alex, and I'm sure he won't mind. The acro is 100% legit, you know, and it highlights a pattern of behaviour, and along with Dot's story, you know, you can only imagine what else Dot's had to suffer at the hands of this animal. You know, it needs to be said that you know, I'm glad that Dot's brave enough and courageous enough, you know, to let us know exactly what she had to endure. And massive respect. I know Alex holds this sort of stuff close to his heart, and he done a terrific job.
Dot, you had a year-long relationship with Derek Gordon HEGGIE.
Yeah.
And we've spoke at length, you and me, about a lot of the real sinister behaviours that he had. Now, I know them all.
Yeah.
But it's up to you what you tell us about, Dot.
Yeah.
Because this is your chance. This is your chance, Dot, to tell your story. So, at best tonight, it will be a massive warning to any woman thinking of getting into a relationship with this guy. And at worst, we might achieve nothing, but you'll have had your pound of flesh.
Yeah, I'll just take a drink, Alex.
You take a drink, you take a minute, Dot, no problem.
You know, I want this to reach all of his subs, you know, that are on his YouTube channel daily, to know and understand that they're supporting a character that is abusive to females. And it's not he was, he is. And he's still, you know, active. He will always be the same. You know, he's like the saying, leopards never change their spots. you know, if it's not a female he's abusing, then you know, it's somebody else that's vulnerable. He will be abusing, and you know, this is the video that you know, all these subs, you know, that promote him and think that butter won't melt in his mouth need to see, you know, and then understand, you know, what this guy is. You ought all be ashamed of yourselves, you know, for subbing to this guy's channel, because all that crap and bull about mental health and they're attacking me and they're all trolls. They're not. They are simply people that are trying to get this message out there. It's not our fault that you guys that subscribe to his channel and think butter won't melt in his mouth. You're the second idiots, you know, for not believing this truth over his dirty lies. You know, I do hope that half of his subs, you know, do get to see this video, and they do hold him accountable for his actions against Dot.
You take your time. So, guys, as you can see, this is a very, very, very brave thing Dot's doing tonight, and we've been talking about it for months, and we've been trying to find a way to do it. And I'm definitely not the best person for this, but I'm a guy, I'm a man, and I'm 45, and at my age, whatever it be, maybe it's age, I don't know what it is, but I'm embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed that females can be in so much fear of men, while some is sit and do nothing. I'm not prepared to sit and do nothing about this.
Thank you for that, Alec. That means a lot. Yeah. That means a lot to a lot of women out there, because I think, and I'm just gonna, sorry to chip in, I think it's really, when I was speaking to Dot, and I've spoken to my own experiences and I've spoken to other women and etc. But one of the things that I think upsets women and invalidates everybody that's impacted by any sort of abusive relationship is that people that turn a blind eye because it's one of the boys, or oh, it's only Uncle Freddie or whatever, they're complicit. And so by you owning how you feel about that, I just wanted to say thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Alec.
A long time ago, when I was maybe around about my early to mid 20s, I was aware of a guy in my community who I didn't like. We always kind of rubbed each other up the wrong way because we were both quite physically imposing and we could both handle ourselves, so we always had a thing. And although that thing never came to anything really, I knew that at one point he was beating a girl up, a girl I knew well, and she was covering for him, but I knew it was happening. And I'm ashamed to say that I should have knocked 10 bells out of him every time I seen him, and I didn't.
Just going to make a coffee, guys.
But that's because it probably challenged your values.
I'll put it down to naivety, and I'll put it down to age, and I'll put it down to maybe then you're just uneducated as to really what you should be standing up for. And at times I stood up for the wrong people, for the wrong reasons. And I really wish today I had made an example of him. But that's that. That was a long time ago. I can do something about this now. So I'm in this to the end for Dot.
Which is excellent. And one of the things I think when Dot and I were talking, we sort of had a short conversation about this, is there's a lot of shame associated with domestic violence or sexual assault. And that shame isn't the victim's shame, but the invalidating behavior I think sometimes propagates that, and it propagates it in young men that are witnessing it, or young men that are minimizing it, older men that are minimizing it. And what you're saying here is the first step to people, you know, being able to shrug off that shame, in even if it's just a tiny bit. If one tiny bit of shame comes away, just hearing a man or somebody say, I knew that was happening, I'm ashamed, you've taken on that shame. And I'm not saying that you should be full of shame. What I'm saying is it wasn't the victim's fault, just as this isn't. People throw all sorts of things around, as I'm sure you've heard about this person. And it isn't, you know, why isn't he in jail? That isn't the victim's shame. That is the constabulary shame, and everybody that's been complicit by minimizing his behavior.
Yeah, and you're 100%, Donna. And it's a difficult thing for me to speak about, because I'm asking the viewers to take me at my word, and they don't know me from Adam. It's easy enough to see me in my YouTube channel, living my life and talking about my kids and doing this and doing that, right? But see, at the end of the day, they don't know me. So the best that I can do is show my criminal history and say, well, look, you know, when I was 30, I got arrested for chinning a copper. When I was 25, I got arrested for fighting in a nightclub. But look, guys, there is never anything towards children or endangering women, kids. There's no violence to any lesser members of society, mindless violence on unsuspecting people, breaking taxi drivers' jaws for no reason, right? Just low-life, despicable crimes. He's got 55 pages of this. Please believe me, guys. Please believe me. I stand on every word I say. I will never, ever deviate from this guy. And he is everything that we've said he is and more. We're only scratching the surface right now. John and Donna have put 3 years in this guy. And I have my ups and downs with John, the humble dryer, because I think he's wasting his time having beef with other people. When he concentrates on this one guy, he absolutely nails it every time. But then he gets caught up in the YouTube traffic. And I keep giving him a hard time, saying, you're wasting your time, don't do this, don't do that, let's go after one guy. And I think I just wear my heart on my sleeve. And if I've got something to say, I need to say it. But what
I think also, to a certain extent, you're simplifying it, because where this has created traction, other people have come to us and spoken to us about other things. And whatever John does, John will be criticised for. It's a very precarious environment. But right now, this is about Dot. And this is about ensuring that Dot is validated by the people around her, saying, you're right to have felt afraid. And don't listen to these people, or don't, you know, they shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have done that. These things gain traction. You're coercively controlled. You're in a situation where you've got perhaps a trauma bond with someone and you can't leave. It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
Not when you're terrified, Donna.
No, it's not. Exactly.
I've shared a room with the guy. I've sat on a couch with him.
100%.
And I'll say it again. He is a big prospect for anybody.
And you're not the only man to have said that to us.
He's a big, listen, I can handle my own affairs. Men don't intimidate me. But he's a big prospect for anybody. He would take a lot of putting away. I would love a bite at the cherry with him, right? I can't even begin to describe my hatred for this guy. And if he engages me after tonight, brilliant. And feel free to engage me, Derek Gordon Heggie. You're right up my street. I'm the very guy for you. And that's no YouTube chat. I can turn the clock back 10 years like that. and that's not the tough guy talk that he does. It would be a very, very different fight for him. I'm not talking about a physical fight. He can't do anything with them. I can beat him with that and that every single day of the week, twice on a Sunday.
But that's another part of it, Alec. In as much as I know, but your very raw feelings about that, where you've spoken to Dot and you've perhaps spoken to other people, you've seen the acro, you've spoken to us, you've spoken to this one and the next one, you've been in his company, and so when I'm going to speak from my own experience, this isn't something that Dot has said to me. When somebody says, oh, go on, I'll go and smash him up, or I'll go and kick his door in, that's triggering, because it's violence, creating violence. It's not helpful.
That's why I'm trying to find other ways, Donna. I want
we spoke about this, didn't we, the other night? You've got to practice self-care.
It's got to be prison for him. Violence is repugnant, right? It is. Mindless, needless violence is repugnant. It's probably the only language he understands, because he's very, very good at dishing it out. But when it's returned tenfold, with true intent, I'm not talking about in a controlled environment on his terms. I'm talking about the dark arts. I'm talking about maybe in the terms that I used to live my life on with people like him. It's not an environment he would be comfortable in. But I want to move away from that, because
let's move on from that. Let's move on from it. It's not good.
I want to take my venom from him. So, Dot, we've kind of got to the point where you're deep in the relationship with him, and we know about all the coercive behaviour, the manipulation.
To the extreme, Alex, where the toilet, using the bathroom, showering, cleaning your teeth, watching the TV. The TV was actually removed from my lounge up into the bedroom, so I was left with nothing. My friend brought a magazine round one night. It was ripped in shreds within 10 minutes of her leaving. He checked every single page to see if there was a man in there before he gave it, and then he ripped it up in front of me.
And he also had a habit of asking you to not sleep in the bed, Dot. Explain that one.
Yeah. He liked to take up the bed, put it that way. I had a dog. The dog came before me. I used to sleep lying on my side. That's how much space I had in the bed. It still affects me now.
Yeah.
He put a comb in my hand and combed every single part of his hair, and it could last for hours until he fell asleep. And this was every night.
The fuck, man.
Fuck. People, this is just, you know, touching the surface like what Alex said, but coercive, manipulative, that's not how you treat a lady. I'm just hoping that, you know, people watching this, you know, can absorb the extents that, you know, this guy goes to destroy females' lives. And all I can say is I pity anybody, you know, that supports him. You know, they
and he also ordered you at some stages when he was fidgeting to get out and sleep on the floor.
Oh yeah.
which is just disgusting in your home.
Yeah. Just took over.
He took your television from the living room up into the bedroom, because we know, his followers know, that he loves lying in his bed, because before he's anything, he's a dosser. He's never out his bed, and he likes his comfortable life because he's got this, this self kind of gratification where he's full of self entitlement. He believes he's entitled to the best of everything in life. I believe I've got to get up in the morning and go and earn a living, or I don't eat on a Friday.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in that world. So he took your television from your living room in your home, made the bedroom comfortable to suit him, and then would let you sit downstairs in the dark and shout you to come up at the end of the night.
Or ring my mobile phone to say.
Yeah, when he was ready to go to sleep, when he'd had his fill of television.
Yeah, and...
He told me, and I've never forgot it. I can't forget it.
It's when I reached the top of the stairs, Alex, and the door opened and the TV was on. Dare I look at that TV? Dare I look at that TV? I'm sorry. I don't have a TV license now. I don't watch the TV.
I noticed that about you. You never ever talk about television.
No,
or
never.
Programs or nothing. You don't. You just sit and you do your thing.
Yeah.
I noticed that. I picked up in that.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly say something. For any men that's on this live just now.
Yeah.
Right. Me and John are pursuing this guy. I know John's heart's in this for the right reason. I know that much about him. Say what you want about him. I know he's in this for the right reason, right? He is in this for the right reason. If there's any men in this live just now, guys, if you are not currently disgusted with what you're hearing about what a man is doing to women in our name, then, you need to give your heads a shake.
It was...
we need to get on this guy. Everybody, share this far and wide, please, everybody. And let's get Derek Gordon Heggie's name up in lights where it belongs. When you go, Dot.
Yeah, it was bad. Behind closed doors, you will never know what went on in there. The curtains never opened. I couldn't go out and peg washing out unless there'd be really been on the back of me. Who am I meeting out there? The shower was available at work for me to take a shower because I could see clearly.
Dot, he was phoning you from a clinic, wasn't he? And ordering you to make payments for treatments he was receiving.
Yeah, that was for Botox.
Yeah, Botox that he claims he's never had until last month. We're going back to 2012, 10 years ago. That clinic existed. I checked it all out. Remember I told you everything you tell me, I'll have to check it out. Not because I disbelieve you, but I have to know that what I'm saying is factual, because somebody somewhere is going to critique me and scrutinise every word out of my mouth.
Myself, Alex, I've seen as much evidence as I could possibly show you.
There's no doubt in my mind, Doc. There's no. You've left no doubt. I know what it is.
It was bad behind closed doors. It was bad in the doctor's surgery in his own town, in his own city. I was escorted out by the members of staff. He was not at all happy with himself. So the members of staff had escorted me back safely to my car. Lots of instances. The driving of my car. When he's saying he can't drive, he bloody well can drive, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know he can drive. I've seen.
We were surrounded by police cars in Carlisle. he kept dragging the steering wheel from my hand until I damaged my thumb.
Yep.
Up until the police stopped us. They'd taken him from the car, and his words was to me, well, don't say anything. And I made an excuse that I had been shopping and the shopping trolley had banged into my thumb and was damaged.
Yep.
I'd been sitting in my car, driving, while his mum was on the phone, while he'd blackened my eye. And he'd made out to his mum that he was reaching to open the car window.
Fucking cow. Mel. Dot, you're doing well, by the way, right? You're really well here.
It doesn't matter.
Makes me feel sick.
It didn't matter what I wore. I came downstairs with a pair of leggings on. I got the biggest, and I mean, the biggest kick up my backside. And I thought I'd broke my back. That's how bad it was. All because I wore a pair of leggings. I never went anywhere. I never went anywhere. And if I did, I was blind. And I mean by that, I was not allowed to look either side of that road. I was never allowed to look or speak to anyone.
Dot, I remember that you said when you approached a junction in your car.
It was my eyes.
He would be your eyes. I remember you exactly the way you said it to me. And when you said it to me, I looked at you and I was like, did I just hear you right?
Yeah, you did.
Because it's so alien to my mindset.
I had to start.
You had to sit and stare directly ahead, and he would look left and right in case there was some young guy or something stood at a Pelican crossing, because that would immediately enrage him that you might have made eye contact with some young handsome guy.
I'm afraid so.
I remember you saying it to me, and it stopped me in my tracks, because I was like, I can actually picture him doing it.
And for a woman to start recovering herself back to making eye contact and having a conversation with a guy, that was the toughest thing a woman can ever do.
Yep. When I met him, Dot, I was slightly disappointed by him, because he was very sheepish in my company. I'm not an intimidating guy. Yeah, I've got a bit of a presence about me, and I'm confident, and I can speak.
Yeah.
But I'm never at the bully with anybody. And he was very coy and very sheepish. And it was immediately apparent to me that he lacked confidence in the company of a confident male that could outspeak him, outthink him, outsmart him. And he brought nothing to the conversation, nothing at all. And in hindsight, talking to his former editor, John, a lovely guy, John said, I've never seen him acting like that, doing other podcasts. He was totally weirding about you. He was sitting there and he slumped down into the seat, like almost submissively. I've been in the company of some real serious men over the years, and they present themselves in a certain way, and they're big personalities, and I can recognise it. And he slumped down into the chair, and I don't know. It was afterwards. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, that didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go, and he's not really the guy that I've been seeing what he portrays online.
What he portrays online is false.
It's completely false.
Nothing real.
It's completely fabricated. As I sit here right tonight, I'm exactly the same tomorrow lunchtime, Wednesday afternoon. This is me. This is the way I speak.
Yeah.
I try and be fair with everybody. I don't like getting MD putting their hand up my back, but I'm fair. I'm always fair. Anybody that knows me will say that about me. And I try and treat people decently. There was something amiss in his personality. He had absolutely no charisma at all. Nor did he have any conversation. He couldn't hold a sentence.
Stone cold, I'm afraid to say, and as times I do, as strange as it may sound, Alex, as times I think, I feel sorry for this guy, but if I hadn't been with him,
I can understand you, Dot.
I would be drawn into that sympathy.
There are times when I've looked online and I've questioned myself and I've said,
yeah,
am I right about this guy? And I always go with my head and my heart. I play them off against each other and I try and find a kind of equilibrium. And it's never let me down in life. And I say to myself a few times, am I right about this guy? Am I going after this guy and I'm really going to get this right? Because if I run this guy off the end of the world and I'm wrong, then I publicly have to denounce myself that I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong. I know I'm right. Today, right now, I know I'm 100% right about this guy. I've read everything. I've pursued people that have wrote little subtle tales and comments and comment sections. I've contacted people. I've linked the bits of the jigsaw. And then when I add that to the work John and Donna's done and to the work that other people have done, and link all the pieces of the jigsaw together, it is an absolute horror show.
There is plenty.
He's been conducting himself.
Yeah, there's plenty of evidence there.
It's
about myself.
Massive.
And there is police footage on body camera.
Yeah, there is. And I know that the police asked you to testify against them.
That's right, yeah.
And quickly tell us, I know the answer, but quickly tell the audience, Stop, why you decided not to testify against HEGGIE.
Yeah. I'd came home from work that evening. I can remember having my uniform on. I'd started a new job and I headed to the bathroom and it just all kicked off. Bear in mind there was recordings placed in either side of my neighbouring homes, voice recorders placed in their houses because of the extent of what was going on behind closed doors. The lady next door, her little boy slept with her. He was frightened because of the outbursts. And the police wanted her to put a statement in and she declined because of the repercussions and the comeback, if there was any. She had a young family, lovely lady, lovely couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know anything that day apart from just going into the bathroom and the door just barged open with a number of police and my landlady, which I was renting the property at the time. And I was sitting on the bath edge just in bits. And bear in mind, I was healthy, fit and well. I was about 6 stone wet through at this point, weak as water. She asked me for permission if she could turn on a body cam, and I said yes. And we got into depth. The police were in the other room with him. It's no, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. I thought, how dare you speak like that in there? So they videoed it all, videoed what I had to say, and they wanted to charge him, take him away from the house and charge him. And it's all on police video camera, and me refusing for him to be taken away to be charged with assault.
I just haven't got no words. I mean, I'm sure all of you that are watching this, who haven't seen this interview that Alex done with Dot, I hope you take in everything that Dot said. It's been fact checked. It's been checked over and over and over and over again by Alex, and this lady is absolutely telling the truth. What she's endured, and I can't believe the fact. I mean, you know, that the manipulation that he holds over females through fear, making a young lady sacrifice her telly, you know, and take it upstairs because he couldn't be bothered getting his ass out of bed. Come on, people, wake up! You know, smell that coffee. Exactly the same way that I smelt the coffee towards the back end of December last year. This guy needs jailing. You know, this guy needs locking under key and chucking that key away. So he can't put any more females through this abuse.
Dot, I've spoke to you so many times, and
Yeah.
when I come off the phone to you, I always feel like phoning you straight back again to ask you if you're all right.
Yeah, I'm
because,
fine.
Because I feel sick that
when
by going out for a couple of dates with somebody, you had the worst year of your life at the hands of a manipulative, coercive, narcissistic beast.
I'm going to say this to any lady,
yeah,
or even gentleman, it happens to them.
Oh, it does, aye, definitely.
When someone is saying, just kill me to get out of this misery what I'm in, that is serious.
That's deadly serious.
It is serious. And when a police lady, an undercover police lady, that thing does not know about that, because he wouldn't allow the curtains to be open. I stepped outside my front door. Yes, my front door. 2 minutes. And there was a voice shouted, Dorothy. And I looked over and she just unzipped her jacket. And she was an undercover police lady. She wanted to leave, asked me to leave the property within half an hour, go to a friend's, it doesn't matter where, we need him out. Because the next time we called, you'll be coming out in a body bag.
And that policewoman tried really hard to get you.
She did.
She did.
Yeah, she did.
You've told me this many times.
See, guys, this is why I came back with a fresh new channel, because as you all may know, if you don't, you know, I've been covering the stories about the grooming gangs in Telford. And, you know, there's not many people would cover such stories and put their face to the information that's out there about the perpetrators in Telford. I mean, but you know, this is like a subject I keep close to my heart, and this is going to be one of the hardest listenings to that I've listened to. I recently done a podcast with Emma Cockrell, Brian the Taxman Cockrell's wife, to get her story out there, which is on my channel. If you get a chance to, have a look on my videos, my lives, and have a listen to the podcast I've done with Emma Cockrell, and you know, her story's just as harrowing as this one. And like I say, Dot is a very courageous woman to find the strength within to tell her story. You know, there's a lot of females out there, you know, that you know, keep stuff like that bottled up inside, and Dot's going to be carrying this for the rest of her life, and that's what makes it more horrible, to the fact that, knowing full well that her abuser's still on the YouTube platform, and you know, still gaining momentum, and you know, still gaining subs, and for those 10,000 subs that he's got, you know, maybe half of them don't even know the facts and information that's floating around the internet. And this is why I take me off to the likes of Humble Dryer, Dodgy Dave, Karma Corner, probably the real honest truth. He holds it close to his heart. And there's a few more, but I haven't mentioned, but they know who they are with their channels, you know, that are persistently trying to get that message out there to the people, you know, that maybe not have heard any of the facts about this monster. You know, this is the reason why I'm sat here tonight, you know, doing a review of this interview, you know, because it needs to be kept to the forefront, and people need to be made aware, you know, of what he's capable of. I do strongly believe, you know, that if he doesn't pack it in, if he doesn't get jail, if he doesn't get punishment, you know, he could go on to, you know, maybe murder a female. I know that's a strong statement to make, I mean, but we've only, for all of us have read stuff like this in the newspaper. It's about time that the authorities, the police, need to step in and step up, you know, and stop being corrupt. As you all may be well aware, there's only 1 to 2% of all rape cases that are taken on, and these perpetrators, you know, they need to be either stopped or continuously brought to the forefront, so the awareness, you know, is always out there.
Always the same version, and that policewoman is still a policewoman. And you know, all of these people that witnessed all of these events can all be got to. They can all be traced. 90% of them can be traced fairly easily. Everybody knows what went on, Dot, but the public don't know. And that's, we need to reach out, and we need to get through the very last of them.
My hometown, yeah, certainly Alex, my hometown certainly knew what was going on.
Yeah, they know. I know that they know. I know that your community know. Everybody knows.
They've witnessed it. Yeah.
When did you talk to us quickly about?
Yeah.
How, I know that we're getting on for an hour now, and we said we were going to try and tie it up, but we're going to be another 20 minutes anyway, and we may as well just strike while the iron's hot. You're doing brilliant. How did the relationship come to an end, Dot?
Yeah, I think the police were really on the guard at this point. Is it the CPS though? The PS was in one of my neighbours' houses, my adjoining neighbour. The guy who he was racially abusing at the time. Yeah. Lovely guy, lovely guy. But he just had something about him, didn't like him. And then it just began, was I in a relationship with him? Why am I going out in the backyard? It didn't matter how old they were, what they looked like. Yeah, I think the police had a close eye on him at that point, Alex. For my welfare, if anything, they could see how downhill I was and how low I was. I was just making myself up to work and back. And that was my daily existence, to work and back.
I'm aware how well known he is to the police, Dot.
Yeah, very.
It's amazing what you can find out.
Really?
A lot of ex-servicemen transition into the police, carry on their pensions.
Yeah. And
it's amazing how many ex-servicemen I'm still in touch with. So I know exactly how he's regarded, you know, and he's not regarded as a normal criminal. There's a word for him. He's not of normal criminal element, you know what I mean? We know what he is, and he's not viewed like the guy that, you know, does this or that, or the tour guy up the street that rings cars. Or he's viewed very, very differently. And we all have an opinion of the police, but the police also all have an opinion of those types of people. They're the worst of criminals. They're despicable human beings.
Yeah. I'll just clarify one thing, Alex. And the no further actions, and it was dealt by not putting it any further. There was plenty of witnesses. They wanted no part in this person because of the threatening behaviour towards myself. Will he come and get them? I'm not frightened.
Yeah, I get it.
No man will ever lay hand on me again. No man. You're a bully.
Amen to that, Dot. You know, there's a lot of people in support of you. You know, you're surrounded by good people now. And I amen to that one. You know, you're in the right place now. You know, but you're right. You know, no man's ever going to be able to do that to you again.
So, for anyone that's listening, to clarify, an NFA, which Dot's talking about, is on his acro. It's a no further action. It's what the police do when they believe, when the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Services, believe that they can not get a 60 or 70% chance at success for a prosecution.
It's 70%. It's a 70% chance of conviction, but the law isn't the same in Scotland.
I know there's a difference, but I'm just trying
Big difference. It's really unfortunate that Dot was over the border. It must have been a great shock to DECCA to find that it was very different up here. And by Jove, it is. So he would have just been removed from the property, and Dot wouldn't have even had we spoke about this, didn't we, Dot? It's really, she's been failed so badly by police procedure. mind-boggling. It's abusive. It's invalidating, and it's abusive in itself.
But we know this anyway, Donna, because you and I have spoke about the microscopic percentage of rape cases that actually result in convictions.
Well, and there's a
Things like
microscopic number that are actually reported.
Yeah.
So if we kind of, I think this calls for a bit of a flowchart, really, just so that people realise this isn't your shame. It isn't your shame. This is the establishment's. This is the establishment's shame. I'm so, you know, I'm angry. You both know how angry I am about this.
Yes,
I think Dot really needs to speak to the set, and anybody else that has been impacted by this. The Centre for Women's Justice are more than conversant with Derek Gordon Heggie, and anybody that's hearing this that has got similar experiences with him or somebody else, you don't have to necessarily prove that you're telling the truth, because often is the case. Interview techniques can eke out information, and I don't feel that Dot was afforded that possibility. Her sitting on the side of the bath in Cumbria, and the police officer being up plain clothes on the other side of the street, calling for her to, putting the onus on Dot, is absolutely bloody unacceptable. It's unacceptable, especially when they understand coercive control. And Dot, I am so proud of you for tonight, because you're still living with all of this. And I think this is one of the reasons why we're told all the time hardly any rapes end up in conviction. Well, I can't even remember off the top of my head what today's figures are. During COVID, the figures changed massively, where people weren't able to leave their house because of COVID. So all the stats of, say, 5 years ago, they've all changed. And you did get out. And you what you just said about no man will ever put their hands on me again. There's a lot of people standing behind you, and I think I can speak for myself, Alec, and John, and probably at least 90% of the chat, and the other 10% is probably DECCA. We will support you.
Sorry, Donna.
100%.
Sorry.
People have got to remember, where did I go after he left? I just want to say I was left homeless.
Yeah, the aftermath.
Yeah, the aftermath, I was evicted. Yep. The deposit I couldn't receive back because of the damage, and I mean the entire contents, apart from a lampshade and a television, was left in that property. There was doors fisted through. My fridge freezer was a brand new fridge freezer. It was like a dartboard with fists, and I was standing there while he done that. And
he also left you thousands, didn't he?
Sorry, Alex.
He also left you with tens of thousands of debt. He left you with a massive debt.
The car was so damaged. The speedo was working, the power steering was jiggered, everything about it. The tyre I was running on, because I wasn't allowed to, remember, to go to a garage to get it fixed.
In case you had to deal with a man.
Yeah, because I had to deal with the man.
And this is the guy that's telling us every day how confident he is in himself.
I'm the confident one now. I'm sitting here and I'm telling my story.
Donna's brought in some really, really important points there about how low down the spectrum these crimes are viewed by the CPS and the justice system. It's diabolical. I don't have the words, right, guys? I don't have the words to tell you how much that saddens me. That abusers, sex offenders, women beaters get passes every time, just like that, and they get to walk the streets, and they get to come onto public platforms like YouTube and tell unsuspecting members of the public that they're good men.
Get a job, Alex. That's what I say. I had a stroke, a mini stroke due to this. I was off for 3 weeks. I got off for my ass and I went back into work where I could have just gladly sat on my ass and done nothing about it.
Dot.
Yeah.
That's not you, right?
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
That's not you,
absolutely.
Dot. Right, you're never going to be beaten. And Dot, listen, you were never beat by this guy. He's a bully. Before he's anything, he's a bully.
Yeah.
He can't bully men, but he can bully females, right? So, as a collective, we will remove his opportunity to do that again. We will. I gave you my word. We will. We will succeed because good always beats evil. He's not got the savvy to beat us, Dot, okay? So
when
he
you
will be
come on,
exposed.
sorry, Alex, when you come onto a public platform,
Yeah,
please make sure you tell the truth.
definitely.
Don't be making money off the victims.
You'll be
Because that's all
scrutinised.
done
You'll be
was back
scrutinised.
home.
Every word you say will be dissected. I've experienced that when I was exposing stuff in Glasgow. Every word scrutinised, dissected, analysed, rehashed and thrown back in my face. Always by faceless trolls. Never ever anyone under their own name, which I trade under because I want full accountability and I want full traceability. And if somebody has a gripe with me, I'm easy to contact. Anyway, Dot.
I'll just pop it on charge, Alex.
That's okay.
Okay.
When we spoke about the aftermath, Dot,
Yeah.
we don't even need to elaborate because we know the effect that he's had on you and is having on you 10 years down the line. Dot,
yeah.
What would your message be to survivors of Derek Gordon HEGGIE and any woman that's out there just now in an abusive relationship with a horrible individual who is who could be treating them like he treated you, but particularly to people that have been at the hands of HEGGIE? What's your message to them, Dot? This is your chance.
If you ever, please, mark my word, if you ever have a relationship with him, please do your checks. The checks are in the police station. It can be given to you. Do not, and I mean do not, go anywhere near. That's all I'll have to say.
That's pretty black and white.
That is black and white. If I could have showed you a photo of before and after, you'd be shocked to when I come out of that house. That undercover police lady, I was close to being in a body bag. And this is done behind closed doors.
Well, of course it is. It always is with cowards.
Yeah.
It always is with cowards.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that we haven't even gone through this. This is a really triggering for you. It's going to be triggering for people listening to it. But this doesn't even represent a full 80% of what he's done to you, does it, Dot?
Absolutely.
No chance.
No.
We're only scratching the surface, Donna.
Absolutely.
Because Dot is a lovely woman who has her pride and everything else, and has her respect and her privacy. And like I said at the beginning,
I wasn't questioning it. I was just saying, just so that if anybody's watching it going, right, well, there's this, and this.
No.
We've literally, you have eloquently scratched the surface to provide an illustration. Dot and I spoke about this earlier as well.
I've tried not to go too deep, Donna, because I'm kind of embarrassed.
And rightly so.
I feel embarrassed, right? And if anybody knows me, look at my complexion and I'm kind of blushing with embarrassment, right? Because I'm a man. And I'm actually cringing with anger. And I don't even know how to describe how he makes me feel that he's done these things. And if I meet a woman who might know me from social media, you say to yourself, I wonder what they actually think of me. Do these people trust me? Because there's people like him out there plying their trade.
The simple answer is probably not on the first from the outset.
Yeah.
But that's,
I think the hardest part through all of this was sitting back, just watching. And did anybody really think, was there any genuine victims? There was. I'm here.
I think there's dozens.
Yeah.
Guys, I spoke the other day to somebody and I said, when you look in his acro, it goes back to the mid-90s, 95, 96 from memory, I'd need to check. And it starts to show you a picture of how he's developing his mindset and how his behaviour's developing. In 1996, 97, I was in the Royal Marines. I was 18 years old and I was getting by on my pride and my grit and my determination. I was trying to give a good account of myself. He was abusing females in Carlisle. So his behaviour's escalated over the years, where his second nature, whereas an argument's enough for me with a woman, right? That's where I draw the line, an argument. I don't want to argue, I'm out the door. His second nature is just to smash a woman. Doesn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I just want to say something, right? I've put a lot of time into this, and I've not put a patch of time into what John and Donna have done. And I've spoke to Donna a few times, and Donna has trusted me a tiny wee bit enough to enlighten me to some things. And hearing it time and time again from women coming forward who build up the strength to let us know what's been happening. This is his behaviour's off the charts. He's out of control because he's got people under his spell. So his confidence is up. He thinks he's winning the fight. He thinks we're all backwards and buttoned up the back. None of us are. I'm maybe tongue-tying myself a wee bit here. I'm trying to say to everybody that's listening tonight, I'm really grateful for you coming on and listening. I kind of strong-armed Donna and John tonight to let me lead this. Let me explain why. Donna would have led this in her own way, but I put myself up for this tonight because it's been gritting on me so much lately that I felt, just in the way I speak, layman's terms all the time, that if it came from a man who's embarrassed by another man's behaviour, I just want you to know that my heart's true. Everything I say tonight, I've checked out and I've checked out again. Dot's story checks out, guys. Please be under no illusion about what Derek Gordon Heggie truly is in life. He's a vile, repugnant individual. And I believe he's absolutely capable of taking a woman's life. I believe that with my heart, and I don't say that lightly. I'm no scaremongering anybody. I don't set out to scaremonger and make statements that I can't back up. I truly believe he's got a point where he will break and he will seriously damage somebody permanently or kill somebody. That's where I'm sitting with this. And everybody that's listening tonight, make your own minds up. Check me out. Ask me anything. Check us all out. You'll have your opinions. Not everybody will like me. Not everybody will agree with me. It's not about me. Dot's come on tonight. Massive respect to you, Dot. Right? Your heart's that size.
Yeah.
Nobody will
heart of a lion. Pure lion.
Nobody will ever take that away from you, Dot.
No.
He's a blip in your radar. That's all he is. He's a blip in your radar. He's not even worthy. After tonight, he's not even worthy of being mentioned out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Because he's a piece of shit. There's nothing more to say about him. He's history.
I really didn't think a human being could actually treat someone as bad as that. I've had some close calls
unfortunately, they're out there.
Very, very close calls.
So for women listening,
Yeah.
you have options. If you meet a guy and you just want to know a bit about him, you have the option of the Clare's Law, the Sarah's Law, the Enhanced DBS, and an ACRO. Any police station will give you them, and anybody, when you prove you're in a relationship or at the beginning of a relationship, you have the right to ask a man, if that man wants your company and you might have children in the house or something, if that man truly wants to be with you and he's a decent guy with no bad history, he'll have no problem showing you who he is.
Alec, can I correct you a little bit?
Ask.
Alec, can I correct you a little bit with the most
Could be wrong,
respect? Actually, it's not just people in a relationship with somebody. So hypothetically, if my friend is dating a man and I'm concerned about that man, I can approach my local police station or call 101, and I can speak to 101 or the police station. And because the law is such that you have the right to be told and the right to ask. So if my friend Heather is dating a man, unless it's a vulnerable adult, the rules are very different. But the police, I can ask the police to provide, if there is a disclosure, to Heather, my hypothetical friend. So even, I mean, it could be, and I said this a few years ago, even if it's to prove everybody wrong, do a Clare's Law.
Definitely.
It works on aggregate information. So if it is one of the ways that the police actually map somebody's offending behaviour. So if I tell the police in Carlisle that I'm concerned about Mr. Jones, and then in 6 weeks' time, somebody down in Portsmouth does a Clare's Law for the same Mr. Jones, we know where Mr. Jones is operating. So it's the aggregate information. That was something that John McLean, DECCA's previous business manager, did an absolute bloody sterling job of creating an aggregate pool of information. He did that Clare's Law, and it took it out of the Carlisle area, and there was and he was provided with a Clare's Law. Even if you don't get a disclosure, the checks are still done, and that's where the aggregate information comes in. So you don't have to be in the early stages of a relationship with somebody. You could be with them for 10 years. You don't have to be, it could be your son, your daughter. It's just that you have the right to ask, and people have the right to be told.
Definitely.
So yeah, sorry to correct you in such a
no. I'm glad you did, Donna. And guys, John and Donna are good at sharing links and stuff. They're good at upload. I'm not very good with tech, right? I'd get it wrong. I'd upload a website to buying a bike or something. They'll upload some stuff. For anybody in any doubt, hit them up, guys. Contact them and ask for, females in particular, ask for this information. If it's a wee bit fuzzy and you maybe miss something, message them and ask for it. It's imperative.
I'll put a video up about it.
Yeah,
what I did have a page a few years ago where it was for each individual police force in the United Kingdom. Different areas have got different pilot protocols. Scotland is different to England. Northern Ireland is different to England, Scotland and Wales. So I will, as a matter of priority, put that up this week.
Brilliant. So we're an hour and 20 minutes nearly, guys. I don't want to, it's getting late, and it's been a hard subject for everybody, in particular Dot, who's came on tonight. This has been building up for a long time. I have asked her many times to tell a story. I've got no right to ask her to tell a story, but I felt in my heart I was doing the right thing, and I hope I've got it right, because I just could only see that this was how she gets a pound of flesh. This is how she gets her justice. Her story needs to be told. It deserves to be told. It has to be told, because people have a right to know who they're aligning themselves with. he made a comment fairly recently. I'm sure somebody could find it in one of his videos where he says, what man doesn't have domestic violence in his record?
I've got that clip.
This man here, doesn't he? Never in my life. Never in my life have I clenched my fist in the company of a female. Never in my life. Not even once. Not even when I was a 20-year-old steaming drunk. Never in my life. So there's one man. None of my pals have done it. I know my pals. None of my pals have done it. They're no made that way. He made that statement, right? The most audacious statement. I can't believe he had balls big enough to label me and guys like me and lump me in with him. What guy doesn't have domestic violence on his record? Now, hear me out. If you're a follower of Derek Gordon Heggie, you're as vile a creature as he is, because you heard him say that and you still follow him and you still monetize him and you still fund him. A guy who believes that it's acceptable to have domestic violence on your criminal history. And he said it as simple as that. Do you know why? Because it means nothing to him. That's who you have signed up with. That's who you have aligned yourself with. You're every bit as bad as him. You're enabling him every single day when you watch him, like his videos, listen to his crap and lap up all his diatribe and all his rhetoric about him, how amazing he is, while he's pulling his pants up to show you his manhood, which is kind of childish at best, right? Guys, be careful what you wish for. Be careful who you align yourselves to. You're following a predator and you're following a beast. That's exactly what he is. He's nothing more and he's nothing less. All his bullshit, all these film star roles and all these A-list lifestyles, lies. It's deception, and he deceives you every single day. And some people, for some bizarre reason, are lapping it up. Don't have to agree with me. Just look
Alec,
back.
I think to a certain extent, and we've spoken to people that are male, that have CPTSD, PTSD, mental health problems, paranoid schizophrenia. They go onto the internet seeking mental health advice, moral support, an icon, something, something to get up in the morning for. So what do I do? What do I do? That's actually how John got involved in this. I'm not going to go into it right now because it's not my story to tell. Most people, right? Yeah. So I think there is a reason, and sometimes, and this coercive control, it isn't a gender-based offence. It isn't.
No, definitely not.
It's not.
I'll just quickly add one more thing before I bring this to an end, guys. I've tried to do this the best way I can, right? I hope I got most of it right. I probably got some of it wrong. I hope I didn't cut too deep. And I hope that you know that I've done this with a true heart. I've done it for the right reasons. And I want to say one thing quickly. There's a YouTuber from Manchester who I won't name because I won't give him a trend. And when him and Heggie aligned themselves to one another, they got on like a house on fire. The old cliche, birds of a feather flock together. They got on like a house on fire. One of them's been duping the public in Manchester for 6 or 7 years, getting funds for his mental health help. He's one of the biggest scammers in the UK. And I hope he listens to this and I hope he hears me saying it. He knows me. He's a scumbag. But those two got on like a house on fire. That tells you a lot about them. They're cut for the same cloth. They're not cut for my cloth. The next thing I want to say is that should Derek Gordon Heggie feel the need to fire shots, fire them my way. Engage me publicly. And we'll see how that ends for you. I gave Doc my word I'll be here to the end and I'll see this through to the end. That stretches across the whole spectrum. I'm sure you can work out what I mean by that, Derek Gordon Heggie. Okay, so engage me if your balls are big enough, because you don't scare me. You're a scumbag, and your time is coming very soon. And I hope it's a really long sentence you get, because it's all you deserve. So thanks everybody that listened to me tonight. I'm going to ask Donna to bring this to an end and just quickly sum things up. And just in the way she does it, she's better than me at that. I appreciate her and John allowing me to bring Dot to their platform, because we need the numbers, we need the shares, we need the message out there. Dot, thank you for telling your story tonight. You are an awesome.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Dot.
So proud of you. You are awesome, and I'm delighted that you done it. You deserve this, Dot, and I hope you get the support. Okay.
You've done an amazing job, Dot.
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you, Alec.
And John, Donna, I know I pressed you tonight to let me lead it.
You sprung it on me.
But it means a lot to me, guys, that he's trusted me to do it, because it's hurt my heart, right, that he's out there. And I mean that, it's hurt my heart, and I'm not going to rest until we bring it to an end. All right. So
I'll be straight with you, Alec. Alec, I was really worried about how you would manage this. I'm going to speak as I find. I think you already know that about me, that's kind of where I come from. And I was worried about Dot being railroaded, or feeling, well, I spoke to Dot beforehand, so there was a couple of things that we spoke about, safeguarding things, and you've done a sterling job, and I'm actually glad that you did it, because I'm sorry.
I don't want to be looking
2 seconds, guys.
as nobody is ever touched in his life, because there is.
I know, and we knew about your story since you know how long we've known, and
I'm not one to go on public platforms.
No, 100%, and it just broke my heart. It broke my heart talking to you.
Yeah.
There were things that you said to me that we knew had happened when we heard the voice notes with him and his mum, and he actually mentioned your name. And then when I spoke to you, I told Alec, I said, I'm this is huge. So everybody needs to look after themselves, look after one another, and just make sure that the police don't get away with their organised crime such as they do. And I will help you. I told you that I will help you. I think this needs a serious case review. There's things that haven't been discussed tonight.
We've only told you 10%, guys. It's 10%.
And that was intentional. Dot needs her. I didn't even want. I was absolutely mortified when I saw your name on the screen. You have astounded me with your prowess, Dot, your strength of character. I'm not going to call you a survivor. You're not a survivor. You've got the heart of a lion. You didn't survive him. Something that's surviving crawls along the floor and it's barely surviving. That is not where you are. You're bigger than him. You're a bigger person than he will ever be. And from my house to your house, we send you love. And a little bit of love your way as well, Alec, but I thought you were a bit of a prick earlier.
We're back.
Right, listen, thank you guys, I appreciate it. Thanks everybody that listened. Have a think about it, mull it over, come to your own conclusions. But that woman right there tells the truth, 100%. Good night,
and this
guys.
was about her tonight. It wasn't about the chat.
Good night, Alex.
Good night, chat. Good night, Dot.
I'm going to say good night. I'm up at 5:30.
I'll speak to you tomorrow, Dot. Take care, darling.
Thank you.
Good night, Dot.
Good night, darling. Well done.
Bye.
Well, what do I say, people? No, on a serious note, I mean, even in Expo, I might whack the football one. you know, but I just had to, you know, get this dot video out there, you know, to create some awareness. Alex, I take my hat off to you, sir. You know, respect you 100%, and the job that you done, you was the man for the job. And Dot is one of the most courageous, courageful females that I've ever come across. And you know, if you're listening, you know, I want to thank you for letting everybody know your story. And that was harrowing, people. I remember the watching it live, and you know, as a man, I thought, wow, you know, and Dot is such a strong lady. She didn't deserve none of anything of what DECCA put her through. I just don't understand how he's still got support. I still don't understand how he's got so much support behind him still. It's just, it's, you know, it's beyond my thinking capability. Alex, what can I say? You know, I've got so much love and respect for you. You know, I need to get in contact with you, actually. So I'll have to drop you a message later on. Alex is an amazing man. I mean, please go and subscribe to AC Coming Back to Life. His channel is full of knowledge. It's he's one in a million. You know, that's all I can say. Alex is totally one in a million. Share this far and wide, people. You know, the message needs to get out there for the awareness that I've been doing this week, and you know, I had to do a reaction video on Dot's story, because for some reason when I put the full video up before YouTube's took it down. So I found myself having to you know, get it back out there for the public knowledge. The more that can share this far and wide, maybe the more people that can see and, you know, stop themselves from getting involved with this monster. Everyone go, if you probably all are sub to Exposure, but Expo, you're welcome on any time. I'll put the link out there if anybody wants to jump on. Expo's off to watch the football. Thank you, Jalise. And if everybody can give AC Coming Back to Life a subscribe, please, guys. Amazing channel. Amazing gentleman. Not sure who that was, but Alex makes me want to try out of detox in 4 days, the living life. Other people deserve this more than me. I'm just very lucky. I'll jump the link out there Yeah, what I was about to say, he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman.
You're right, Steve.
You're right, Alex.
Doing, mate.
Not too bad. For some reason, YouTube took when I put the video up before of the live. For some reason, YouTube's bloody took it down. For some reason, so you know, I thought if I do it as a reaction video, you know, YouTube might, you know, decide to keep it up there. And plus, you know, for those that didn't see the live when you done that live with Dot, I thought I'll get their awareness out there that people, you know, they still need to be shown
Definitely.
what he's put these women through.
Yeah, it's had about, I think it's had over 10,000 views now, but that's still a drop in the ocean in comparison to the effort that Dot made to do it. So, you know, I would like to see it with 100,000 views, which is what I think she deserves. Because, you know, the greatest ally of evil is silence. If you say and do nothing and look the other way, then evil's always going to prevail, isn't it? So if we continue to look the other way and give people like HEGGIE a pass and say nothing and do nothing, you know, lately his rhetoric has been violence. Every single accusation or finger pointed at him is levelled and met with violence, threats of violence. He loves telling men that they can't fight sleep.
But yeah, isn't it?
He's going to have a rude awakening, Steve.
You turned up at his door.
Yeah, but all irrelevant. He's going to have a rude awakening very soon.
I'm hoping
he can allow his arrogance to nullify the remaining brain cells that he has, you know, as much as he wants. It's his arrogance that's going to be his undoing. It'll be a fight that he's never been in his life. Not a comfortable experience. That's the language that he will understand. That's the language that will show the depth of the man. The depth of the man is always shown when you're at your weakest hour. That's when your true caliber's shown. So he's creating this, Steve. If he was a man at all and acknowledged his wrongdoings, we would all go away. But as he's making a mockery of us and a mockery of the people that he's abused, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not fearful of him. I hope he sees this. He doesn't scare me in the slightest, not one iota. I've met scary men at times in my life. He doesn't qualify. So good on you for sharing the story again and getting it out there. And I hope people keep sharing Dot's story because it deserves more coverage. And people that have suffered, females in particular that have suffered at the hands of extreme abusers, deserve a platform, they deserve a voice. And it's up to the good guys among us, yourself included, to offer those platforms in any way at all, no matter how small their platforms are. We're only minnows in the YouTube world, but we are there for them. And we'll never ever be in fear of people like him. Never.
Is the link for the full video of that? Have you got that on your channel? Have you, Alex?
I'm no good with that kind of stuff, Steve. You need to speak to John for that. Humble. I could ask him to send me it, but I'm hoping.
I mean, if I can get a link to the video, I can put that in the description, and everybody can go over and
yeah. And I would ask that people put opinions on other stuff aside, like the hosts. You know what? Everyone gets involved in something that perhaps they shouldn't. But on this particular subject, everybody is genuinely into this for the right reason. Nothing was monetized. Nobody, you know, there was no gain in this other than to offer a platform for Dot. So put judgments aside. I've been judged. I've been trolled. I get trolled because I'm involved in this. That's just part and parcel. When you put your neck in the line, you have to be prepared to accept what comes. So this isn't the only. This is just one of many abuses that I'm here to expose. But it's the way that he conducts his abuse which infuriates me the most. While pertaining to be something else. Right? None of us are angels, Steve. I certainly not been an angel at times in my life, but no matter where you look in the closet, there will be no domestic violence. There will be no sinister behaviours towards minors, children. There'll be no coercive, manipulative behaviour with females. None of that vile skullduggery. That's out with the normal spectrum of criminality and, you know, being a bit of a Jack the Lad. That's a whole different spectrum. It's deeply sinister, premeditated stuff, and it's not spur of the moment. It's your character. It's your true character coming to light. A dangerous person like that that's prepared to throttle the life out of somebody in an open relationship when he doesn't get his own way is a man that's prepared to kill somebody for the very same thing. So anybody that's listening, you know, if you're around that, get as far from it as you can, because it won't get better. I'm a man. Take it from me. Men are capable of lying, and men are capable of saying anything they want. I'm a man. I'll say that with a true heart. If a guy's hurt you once and he's telling you he'll never do it again, I'm telling you, now he's lying. I've never had the notion to hit a woman or clench my fist and be violent to a female. It's in you. It's in your genetics. It's in your DNA. It's not something that you get to 45 and just start clubbing females. Okay? So if you're around a guy that's done it once, I'm telling you, ladies, he'll do it again. So look after yourselves. You only get one life. All right?
See, his spots are never going to change, Alex.
Never. No. Can't change. It's your DNA. Just the same as sex offenders with children. They don't get to 40 and get caught by us on a sting and they say it's their first offence, first time they've ever done it. Bullshit. First time we've caught you. You've been doing it your whole life. This is what people need to understand, Steve. There is no repair kit for these types of people.
Yeah.
There is no, you know, reconciliation, retribution. You know, there's none of that. You don't rehabilitate a paedophile. You demobilise a paedophile. You physically demobilise them. That's what you do with them. They don't rehabilitate. There's not one proven case of any sex offender or rapist or anybody ever been rehabilitated anywhere in the world. Do you know why? Because no doctor, no psychologist, no psychotherapist, nobody will ever sign that paperwork off. Because they say we can never be sure.
Yeah.
So I'm here for the long haul. I told you that when I met you, Steve. I'm not going anywhere. He can say what he wants about me. I've got bigger shooters than him. He doesn't faze me in the slightest, and I'm more for him on my worst day. So it's whatever way he wants it with me. I'm not interested in violence. I did it for a living. If I have to do it again, unpaid, then so be it. If that's the only language he speaks and continually wants to provoke people and prompt people and jab and prod with threats of violence and letting us all know how much of a hard man he is, he's not a hard man. I've met hard men. He's not one of them. I've also met scary men, very, very scary men, and he's not one of them. He's not even in the same spectrum. He's not even in that stratosphere. He's a nothing and he's a nobody. That's why he chooses vulnerable women to bully.
See, what I found good in that, that Dot is one of the most amazing females that I've ever come across.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And the strength that it must have took. I mean, you know, to even have it at the front of her mind, you know, to want to tell her story. I mean, it must have been well nervous, like maybe on the weeks leading up to it. And, you know, I'm glad that she found the courage and the strength, you know, to tell her story, because
Steve, it was months in the making. It was months in the making, because Dot was getting strong, and then she would say, "Right, Alex, I'm ready," and I'd say, "Right, okay, let's get the balls in, the wheels in motion," and then it would overwhelm her, and she'd fall back again. And I can't force Dot to do anything. You know, I was desperate for her to speak, but it had to be in her terms, because ultimately, egging her on is a form of coercion in itself, and it's the very thing that we find reprehensible. So it had to be Dot that came back to me, and she did. She came back a few times, and then it slowed again. And eventually, I just saw a change in Dot's behaviour. I just saw something in her, like a light had came back, you know, like back to full flame. Just saw that fire burning, Steve, and I thought to myself, she's really going to do this. She's going to nail him. And she did nail him.
Yep.
And it took tremendous courage. Tremendous courage it took.
I mean, I can only but think, you know, because put me into Dot's shoes, and you know, I'd be putting it off. You know, when it comes close to that hour, you know, I'll be like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't. And I can only but imagine that same thought and feeling was going through Dot's mind. But I'm glad she found the strength, and I'm glad that she confided in yourself. You know, to be the man.
I'm glad we were able to help her. I'm just glad that we were able to help Dot and be there for her. We're still there for her. You know, I really wanted her to do it, but I wanted her to get some benefit from it.
Yeah.
She got a massive amount of support, but I think she exercised some of her own demons by convincing herself that she truly had the strength within her to speak out. Do you understand me, Steve? I always think that Dot had herself down here, when really I knew she was up here. She just took a little bit of convincing that she had it within her. And she did have it within her, but I think just by a few years saying, look, we're here for you, we're not going anywhere. Let's do this on your terms. We're here for you. And she came and did it herself. You know, nobody had to help her. Nothing was scripted. That was Dot speaking. A very private woman, very well regarded woman in her own community. You know, a private, kind of nice, private, decent person who just happened to be duped by a scumbag. Happens to millions of people. He duped all of us. He's duped everybody. You know, I always hedge and caution, but I always give the benefit of the doubt. And, you know, if somebody puts their hand in my hand and looks me in the eye and tells me they're a decent guy, I'll allow them to hang themselves and hope that they don't. So he should never have crossed paths with me. He should have done his homework when I said to him, don't lie to me and sit and do a podcast with me. Because I will take it personal. That I'll take it that you've personally insulted me, and you know, you think I'm one of these average bangers that are 10 a penny. He should never have engaged me like that and lied and kidded on he was one of us, which when I say one of us, I mean somebody that's half decent, somebody that's maybe a bit of a Jack the Lad in his life, but it's not got that scumbag stuff going on. And see if you ever have done a truly bad thing. See if you're man enough to take your balls in your hand and stand up and admit it. Then I'm good with that, Steve. I'm good with the man that's prepared to own his past and admit his mistakes and wear them and rectify them with living correctly and living appropriately and striving to be a better person. What I'm not prepared to accept is somebody that sits and hides and lies and just hopes it's going to go away. Because all he's doing is hoping that we run out of gas. I've never run out of gas in my life. I'm not going to start now. He wants us to just give him a pass. Hence his daily sympathy videos. You know, me. He's not even once has he admitted one single thing, but he slipped up yesterday. He slipped up yesterday because in all his other videos, he's been telling us that these two apparent rape allegations were fantasy and never happened. But yesterday, in the heat of his diatribe, he inadvertently admitted that yes, he has been questioned for 2 rapes, but they were both NFAs, therefore they don't count. Steve, I know a lot of bad men. I know some of the most notorious criminals in Scotland. I don't know any man that's been questioned twice for rape.
Let alone once. I don't know anybody, not even once.
None of my pals, none of my mates that were crooks back in the day were ever questioned for a rape. They despise rapists. Real crooks despise rapists.
Yep.
They're in a whole different league. It's a whole different type of crime. And he admitted that he's been questioned not once but twice. See the fact that he admitted it? That tells you that he was in a police station getting quizzed for raping a female not once but twice. I don't care what the outcome is. Analytics and criminal statistics, the Criminal Statistics Office will tell you that less than 2% of rapes ever result in conviction by trial, by jury. It's round about 1.6%, which is horrific for women. Now, he's easily, the odds are massively in your favour, right? Massively in your favour of getting a bye if you rape a woman. Certain criminals know that. They know that a woman's not got a leg to stand on. It's your word against theirs. And he was busy last night telling people in his video that the police took both our phones and checked the messages and let me go because there was no case to answer. No. That's not the outcome. The outcome is you weren't unlucky enough, or whatever way you view it, to incriminate yourself with text messages because you're a sneaky fly bastard. Excuse my language. But that's all he done there. The fact is, he made a massive statement last night, and I hope that people noticed it. He admitted that he's been questioned twice in his life for rape. Steve, see the day I'm questioned once for rape, I will banish myself to a desert island, regardless of the outcome. I will remove myself from all public everything. If I was questioned legitimately because a woman legitimately made a statement of rape against me, I would be fucking horrified. And he wasn't. He was just lying there, massaging his ego as usual, with his sweaty, stinking vests on, you know, showing half his torso off, which he's always doing. It's always about the show. You know, dress decently when you come on social media. Cover yourself up. Cover yourself up and be a man. Be an appropriate man. Put some clothing on. Don't be coming on all half-dressed, showing off, lying in a bed with your chest out and your nipples out, showing off. Fucking creep. Listen, he's know my views on him. You know exactly what he is. We all know what he is. And if you don't, if you're still deluded enough to think he's a decent guy, I'd ask people one question. Would you trust him babysitting your daughter?
I think we got a visitor.
Right? Because, listen, Steve, if I had a daughter at 14 or 15 that was developed, I would not allow him to babysit my daughter. I wouldn't allow my daughter to be in the same room as him. And I know some men that I would trust with my children, and he is way at the end of the line. So I don't want to keep going on about it, right? I get angry. It infuriates me that he's out here in the public eye, kidding on he's something he's not. Doesn't ever admit that he's ever done a single wrong thing in his life. We've all made mistakes, Steve. I've made dozens of mistakes. I can admit them. but he's never done one wrong thing in his life. He's been an angel his whole life. Hi, Claire. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm listening.
You good?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you? Obviously a
I'm
bit,
fine, thanks.
not a bit anything. But yeah, I was listening. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It is, because you don't really know. I say you. I'm talking about. You know where to start on something like that.
All we can do is keep chipping away collectively. The greatest crime that any of us can commit is to know and do absolutely nothing.
Well, okay, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So then, but I think for a lot of people, they're taught from a young age to know and to shut up and to do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's. Can you hear me all right, by the way? It's coming through my speaker, so I'll take it off.
Yeah. Yes, children were all told to, you know.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's a bit better. The sound was a
Okay.
wee bit back.
Like, I think, like, you just nailed it then. Like, I think one thing that you've, like, my ears pricked up, like, of the last 10 minutes chat is, I understand what you're talking about. And I think the issue comes down to, it's never, like, we could go after perpetrators of this problem till we're blue in the face. Like, we've got this problem. It's always going to be a problem. Like, till we're extinct, we're going to have these freaks. We're going to have these weirdos, right? So if we want a solution to this problem, then it's got to be, the solution has to be found within you and me and my children and your children. Like, that's the only way this is going to stop, because we can't, you can lobotomize people, you can, like, tear their brains out, and you can castrate them, you can do whatever you fucking want to them, but there's fucking weirdos everywhere. Do you see where I'm coming from? So I think, without sounding like a proper lefty, because I'm not, I feel like I'm so far from the left, it's unreal. But, like, I feel like the issue starts with, and I'm not saying the issue is with the victims, but what I'm saying is empower. Like, I've not had a completely blemish-free life from these sort of wankers. You know, I'm not going to come on here and start telling you all about my story, but I know that the answer is, I was never taught, not that my parents neglected me or my parents faulted, but I was never taught that that was not okay. Do you know what I mean? To be used, to be manipulated. You know, I know what's right and wrong, but it needed to go a little bit further, and it never did. And I think, had it have gone a little bit further, and I look at mates of mine who are now succeeding, who are not doing particularly, you know, they're not feminists, they're not fucking, like, you know, they're doing normal jobs, but they're when I say succeeding, I mean they're not falling to pieces in life. Do you know what I mean? They're stable. They're able to look after their family. They're able to do they're able to do their fucking washing. They're able to get up and have a shower every morning. You know, that's winning for me. And I feel like where it should start is an education, not just amongst, I'm sick of it always being about, let's educate our men. Like, it shouldn't be. It should be educate our women, to educate our men, to educate our women. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's acceptable and what's not? And I feel like that's where we're going wrong. I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm not a martyr by any means, but that's where it's got to start. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, it's hopeless going after it. We could talk all night about these sickos, but, like, actually none of us are sick. Anyone in this chat now that's joining this chat is not a sicko, and let's break the chain. I guess we all know there's, you know, it's probably a weirdo living 2 doors down from us all, you know. I don't know.
See what I think now. What's happening down here in Shropshire, because of all the grooming gang situation that's been going on. they've started introducing in the schools now as a recommendation from the independent report of the inquiry, the awareness of abuse into schools as like part of the curriculum. I think that's a good move, to be honest with you.
100%. Oh my God, yeah, completely. But it is, but with, you know, like, I think a lot of people will be like, God, what the fuck has our society come to? Like, where we have to do this shit, you know? But we do. We have to do it. Like, and I know it's gonna hurt some people to think that their children are in a class where they have to learn about grooming gangs and shit like that. But it's our reality today, isn't it? You know, and
before you teach kids about the dangers of grooming and online grooming, you have to actually have an authority and a government that's readily admitting that there's a problem.
Yes.
The reason it will never be part of the education syllabus or any education spectrum is because no one has got the balls to admit there's a problem.
But then at the same time, Alex, like, at the same time, Alex, what we ultimately want, like, let's be honest here, we're talking to a bunch of fuckwit MPs, yeah, who never get anything done. So let's just fuck them off and do it ourselves. You know, like, how long are we going to wait? Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, we went through, I'm not going to try and get all political here, but like, the whole country voted for out the EU. We all have issues with immigration. Has anything changed with immigration? No. Like, you know, actually, we could get the government on board. It doesn't mean they're going to actually fucking do anything. You know, actually, I think what it comes down to is who's going to actually do the work. And that's when they run off. You know, that's when they leg it. It's when they go, oh, no, we don't. You know, all they care about is votes. They're all fucking plastic. Do you know what I mean? They're all just fake anyway.
I think the remedy for DECCA, though, is jail. You know, he needs to get behind that fucking door. You know, and, you know, I'm praying, and I have done for the past couple of weeks, that in January, you know, that's exactly where he goes, behind that metal door.
I won't even, to be honest, I'm not even like, I'm not talking about DECCA. I'm like, who's he in the big scheme of things? Like, he's just one of many, you know.
One of tens of thousands.
And with like, I understand what you're saying. Like, I don't mean to, like, I'm not like minimizing whatever's going on with him. I don't know him, and I'm not following all this shit. But I know that's just one example of thousands, you know. And I'm talking on a more general front here. But anyway, I didn't mean to get it all heavy.
It's a major problem, right? But listen, we can talk all we want, right?
Yeah, we could.
The thing is, my own personal agenda is perhaps not very widespread known. I'm looking to petition Parliament to dedicate immediate remand for first-time child sex groomers, online sex offenders. I want immediate remand for the very first interaction that you make with a child. That gives the authorities 6 months and have a specialist team per regional police force that scrutinises your online history and gives them 6 months with you safely in a remand wing to see who you really are, instead of you going up in front of a judge with some half-assed paperwork that's been concocted overnight at the end of a shift with some tired police officer that's been overworked, and the judge gives you a bail restriction and lets you out. Because a lot of the guys that we catch and a lot of the guys I view online are second and third and fourth time offenders who are back online, Claire, the very next day they get out from bail, grooming children again.
Unbelievable, yeah. Right, which is outrageous, really, isn't it? The audacity of them when they've been.
It's outrageous, but it's happening.
Yeah, and it shows that they're not scared, really, doesn't it?
No,
it shows that they're not. They feel like they're lawless a bit, yeah.
There's no deterrent.
Yeah, okay, that sounds. I mean, to the average Joe, I think everybody probably assumes that once you're nicked, once you're caught doing it once, you're already remanded. People probably already assume that you're already remanded. But it's news to me that they're probably booked in and then sent off on their merry little pedo way.
Yep.
You know, and I think that alone is probably, I mean, it's come as a surprise to me, you telling me that now. Like, I don't know that. Who would know that? You know, like, so that sounds like a plan.
For most
like
online, for most online groomers, they have to really offend. The cases I look at, and I've been looking at cases for years now, most of them have to offend usually about 4 times, if not 5, before they'll be remanded for the first time.
Right, okay.
So it's not like one strike, you're out. They're allowed about 4 or 5 strikes before they'll actually get a remand. And it
Which is incredible, really, isn't it? That's 4 or 5 strikes of talking to a child before they'll actually be in pen.
Don't find it incredible, Claire. Don't be surprised by that at all.
It's shocking, though. But who in the chat thinks that is like that? For me, is a surprise. Like, does anyone else feel that surprising? Like,
no,
I had no idea.
No, it's not surprising in the slightest. The Crown Prosecution Services do not view sexual crime against children seriously.
Gosh.
They don't care about it. Do you know why?
Unreal, really, isn't it? Well, it's not really about it. Yeah,
because they can't monetize it. And because they can't monetize it, they don't care about it.
Yeah.
So,
whereas drugs, or if it's fraud, or if it's drugs, or if it's Proceeds to Crime Act, they're straight on it, aren't they? Because there's millions involved, and they want to. Yeah. Okay.
I recently stung a guy, right? And the police officers that came to deal with him had been taken off of road traffic. And I said, "Are you road traffic officers?" And she went, "No." But in here, sure, all of us, all we do is road traffic because that's where the revenue is. So I said, "What experience have you got with dealing with predators and online groomers? Do you know how to process the information? Do you know how to capture the chat logs?" Never had a clue. No generic.
What you mean? He's just a bog standard. Yeah.
It's because they don't care. But listen, I'm going to need to get off just now. I'm travelling tomorrow, and I need to go and get some stuff ready. But
so just before you
putting out, Steve.
Just before you leave, Alec. So what in your what would you be working towards here? Like what you said, you're looking at a petition to work towards MPs.
Get it up in front of Parliament and have the Law Society change laws and give immediate remand to first-time child sex offenders. There can't be any
well, I'm 100% behind you on it, and if you want to,
most people say that, but no one's doing anything about it, Claire. It's all just
well,
chat.
if you want to get our heads together, then I'm up for it, and if that means
raise a petition in the south of England where you are, raise a petition in your own area and petition your own MPs to get this spoken about in Parliament.
Okay, sound all right. I'm on it.
MPs, it starts with your regional MPs, and you have to petition them to discuss it in Parliament, and they have to actually have a passion about it and be serious about it.
One of our elected MPs is my next door neighbour.
Well, grab him then and ask him why there's not an immediate remand for first-time offenders against children.
But he's a good bloke. He's an ex-school teacher. He's friends with David Attenborough. Cracks out the champagne at Christmas, mate. You know, he's that sort of geezer.
You'll find out how good a bloke he is. You'll find out how good a bloke he is when you put it on him, all right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he cracks out the champagne then, shall we?
Yeah, good luck with that.
I bet he won't.
I know that none of them's interested.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Right, take it easy.
And you, mate. Nice talking to you.
Steve. Take it easy, right?
And you too, sir.
Bye-bye.
No,
Thank
no.
you.
Cheers
Take
for coming
care.
on. Yeah, I mean, I've been covering a lot about the grooming gangs in my hometown.
Oh no, don't get me started on that, mate.
And
A
to be
whole
honest
new
with you,
subject for me.
and to be honest with you, I mean, I ended up in the thick of it because my sister was given evidence against a group of Pakistani perpetrators, and the reason
What's your first name? Sorry, I don't even know.
Steve.
Steve. Sorry, Steve. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and now how I